So this is the book Championship Fighting. I got it yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It arrived in my home. And basically, he's the fighter is Jack Dempsey. He's a heavyweight. He was a heavyweight in the 20th century, and he fought against recognized names such as Jesse Willard. And Jesse Willard was 245 pounds. He was 65 pounds heavier than Jack Dempsey himself, the man, and he knocked Jack Dempsey. Where besides the heavy weight difference, he was able to knock out the guy several times until he gave up in the fourth round. He didn't even make it in the fourth round, his opponent. And the title says itself: explosive punches, aggressive defense. And man, this is the book. This is like I don't know, for me, this is the boxing Bible. It shows techniques and ways of movements. It explains every technical part of boxing and fighting in general, how you should move, what is the central line, how the fist behaves, different things, what is the power line. And I don't know if I'm even allowed to show you those tools, but man, because you go to training. I started kickboxing boxing a few years ago, and I'm still a beginner, but you have like trainers and you go watch the trainers, what they teach to you and stuff. And as soon as I started to read this book. I read 80 pages and I'm memorizing and learning about them, about the different stances, about the shoulder whirl, about the straight line in punching, about the stance, how you should move, how you should behave. And we all think we know how to punch, and every trainer behaves like he know how the movements and the technique does. But after but by reading this book now, I realized that the most trainers, and most, actually you can even call them professional trainers or trainers that have a decent resume and stuff, they don't even know how to really technically make an explosive punch, and how to really implement the techniques so that they sting, so that the person will actually go knockout and will be really hurt. Because they and also he kills basic concept. Like, the concept is, you go to boxing or you go to kickboxing, and the most common misdemeanor that the trainers tell us is like, the jab is only to to tap a person, that you can set it up with your hook, that will be not the knockout punch. And this is a common demeanor, because we 90% of all boxers, kickboxers, they don't have a hard jab. They don't have a jab that can knock people out. And he kills the assumption that hard punching is because of genetics, because of power. He says hard punching is not because your capability is not something that you're born with, rather than it is something that you can learn by applying technique. And as I'm reading through this book and I'm applying those techniques in my room and trying to do the movements, and how I rotate my shoulder, how my stance is, how I go inside, how I do the rolling stance, and all those different techniques, I start to get the gist of, no, it isn't the capabilities you're born with, it is the technique that you learn during the training and during the fights, during especially this book, which make your punch more explosive and way more explosive. I mean, I saw the improvement like of my punch about 10 or 20%. I think it is 20% just because of this book. And he has ancient fight techniques of the 17th century, 20th centuries. And man, if you are interested in fighting, this is the book you should read about. I'm an advocate. I never read something about martial arts that is as detailed as that. And also by watching the Jack Dempsey, because sometimes you go into paragraphs and you don't really understand what he means, because it's like highly technical. But then you type it in YouTube and stuff, and you look how the movements are, and then you see a video that Jack Dempsey demonstrated how that. Uh, Maybe you see a video of our other fighter YouTuber. I think I forgot the name, but another YouTuber wrote about this book, made a video about this book, and then you can type in the movement, the specific movement, and you will be demonstrated the video how to punch according to this book, and then you can follow also the video if you don't get the technical explanation every time. So man, it's just, I can recommend you to buy this book. It was really cheap for me. I bought it for 10 euros. It's like $10. It came, man, glad to read it, and I will write it more and maybe explain some techniques and stuff if I want to. But that was about it, guys. See you, man. But I need to tell you this. But I need to tell you this, guys. For example, like trainers like Henry Hooft and stuff. Henry Hooft, he trained Kamaru Usman, and I was watching tape of Kamaru Usman when he was at the time he entered the UFC, and I watched his striking capabilities. His strike was good. Don't get me wrong, his strike was professional, but I didn't saw the force and the power, the sting that he developed during the years and after later championship fights, such as against Masvidal, against Gilbert Burns and stuff. I don't know if I think he fought against Gilbert Burns. Yeah, because I saw development through Henry Hooft and through other professional trainer who told him the striking moves, who developed his techniques also. So because I was always thinking, when you look at Mike Tyson, you think like, oh, a hard punch, you are born with it, either you have it or you don't have it. But it isn't. I saw it in the case of Kamaru Usman. He had a strong punch, don't get me wrong. But Henry Hooft and other trainers helped him to get a stinging blast that he hadn't before. So it's learnable. The techniques are there, especially in those books, like I showed you. And man, recommendation. And especially if you want to be a trainer or if you want to learn, you need to read those books and read those methods and need to shift your mind about methods.